I just had a real disparaging discussion with a member of my family. It seems that my son's foreskin is still rather tight. And my mother decided to try to relate to me several stories of family members whose foreskins were too tight and who nobody did anything about, although to be honest with you, if one works with their foreskin, as my son's original pediatrician had told us, then things should not be bad. My son, outside of the times that he was with his mother, has not had problems with his penis or foreskin under my care. But basically, it's been put to me like this. My son is 11 years old. I do not want to put him through this unless it is absolutely medically necessary. Now, sometimes is circumcision medically necessary? Absolutely. But despite the fact that I've been fine, that I was a late detractor, even though my mom's trying to say that it was always somewhat I don't care. But here's where things get more complicated. If I take my son to the urologist and the urologist says that it is medically necessary to circumcise my son, if I refuse, CPS could then decide that that constitutes medical neglect. And I could have them on my ass for the next 7 years. It's not like they have necessarily gone away anyways, even though they told told a mutual third party who was working with my son that they were closing the case not once but twice and had nothing on me. So basically it's come to the point to where, although my son says his foreskin seems a lot looser with the measures we've taken medically, he has this cream he has to put upon it, that if the doctor deems it necessary as well as the urologist and I say no, then I could shoot myself in the foot. So here's the wonderful predicament I'm being put in. I could force my son to go through something that if I do see it's medically necessary, I'm not going to worry myself about it. But if they only want to do it because of the possibilities of future urinary tract infections, which is not something that should require medical circumcision, by the way, but I digress. But basically put, if the urologist demands it and I say no because I don't want to, in good conscience, put my son through that, then CPS can basically all but force it upon, they could take him away off of the medical neglect idea, or at least that's the paranoid way that it's been related to me by my mom, who was taken aside by my son's psychologist talking about the possibilities about medical neglect. Not that I was medically neglecting my child, but just the idea, because I guess she talked to the professor about, talked to my son's psychologist about what I said. I said, no, unless it's absolutely medically necessary, I'm not putting my son through that. I will not sign off on that. Which, of course, my mom didn't take too kindly, but it's not her decision. I'm the dad. But basically, even if it's not medically necessary, if it's considered that I am neglecting my child medically, then CPS could decide to step in, take my child, or do something else, and basically force him to have something that I do not agree with based off of years worth of research. I was all set to have a really fun night tonight. My night is now completely fucking ruined. I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm imagining what could happen with him based off of, again, research from many different places. this fucking sucks. I don't know what else to say about this. If it's absolutely medically necessary, if there is going to be a complication when he gets older and he's going to have issues, then obviously I'm not going to be stupid about it and say, okay, I can see the point of the medical necessity for this, so um, I'm going to have my son go through this. Damon Wayans once talked about getting his kids circumcised and how unhappy they were about that. I just hate that there's organizations out there that could force me to do something against my will towards my child based off of, at times, ignorance and possibilities. And my mom's almost just saying, well, if they say it's necessary at all, we have to do it. Because she's freaked out, she's paranoid. My mom freaks out about every fucking thing. And then I wonder where my anxiety issues have come from. I mean, my mom's a good woman. Don't get me fucking wrong here, but god damn it. And I hate this because then she gets me into these moods. She gets me into these modes with the ways that she does things. And I've been sick most of the last couple days. And here, I'm trying to get this mod stuff started. I'm trying to get all of my art. I'm trying to get all of my research stuff for the military rape stuff so I can move on to less heavy topics to talk about, while also trying to figure out solution-based videos to talk about for you guys instead of just simply boo-hooing about things, because that's what everybody else is doing. But as a father, as somebody who's read up on this, and I'm going to call it barbaric, when it's not medically necessary, this is a barbaric operation. Oh, I forgot. No, it's barbaric across the board if we say that a woman should need it or a girl should need it, but if a guy needs it, it's always medically necessary. I'm just so sick of all this. I'm sick of being pulled aside to be lectured by people who don't know what they're talking about. I'm sick of the paranoia. I'm sick of the anxiety. I'm sick of all of this. You know? And then you want now and you question me. You wonder why I get mad that CPS has even at any point in time come and talked to me about things that were going on with my child. Things, I might add, again, that were things he developed that were not things that I or he had any control over. And yet you've got Honey Boo Boo. Oh, she gets to keep her child. CPS is investigating, but I'm sure they're really digging deep. When she's admitted on the show and she's talked about how Honey Boo Boo must get fatter because without that chubbiness, this girl won't they won't be able to keep their show, thus psychologically damaging this girl. But oh no, me, I'm the problem. I'm the reason America's in the shitter, right? I'm not saying that CPS is not a needed entity. I am saying, though, that as it stands, it's a waste of frickin' time, money, resources. It's hurting people. It's hurting families. And I hate that basically my choice is having to be made for me. I'm going to have to sign off on something, possibly, that I do not agree with, except for in the case of medical necessity. I'm just hoping my son understands what I ask when I ask him about the changes in his foreskin since taking the steps that we are taking. I'm hoping that they're going to see that it's looser. There's going to be no reason in his case to cut it off. But if they say medically necessary, my hands are fucking tied. And I find that disparaging.